After 70, this one simple walking habit could save your life. You know, I talk to a lot of people over 70, and almost everyone tells me the same thing. They say they want to live longer, they say they want to stay sharp, keep their independence, avoid falling, stay out of the hospital. But here's what I've noticed after working with thousands of older adults. Most of them are missing something fundamental, something so simple that it almost sounds too easy to matter. And that's exactly why almost nobody does it. The thing is, nobody ever sat down and told them that one single habit could move the needle on almost everything they worry about. Not everything, but one habit that touches more of the things seniors fear than almost anything else you could possibly do. And I'm going to tell you what that habit is, but first I need to tell you what most people get wrong about aging and health after 70. Here's what most people believe. They believe that after 70, your body is just naturally going to decline. They believe that fatigue is just part of getting older. They believe that memory loss is inevitable. They believe that your bones will get weaker, your balance will get worse, your heart will get sicker, and there's nothing much you can really do about it except maybe take more pills or accept it as the price of living longer. And I want to tell you something important. That belief is actually dangerous. Because what that belief does is it stops people from doing the one thing that actually matters most. It stops them from moving. It stops them from walking. And not just any walking. Not the shuffle to the mailbox and back. I'm talking about walking that's consistent, that's purposeful, that has a little bit of intention behind it. The kind of walking that your body is actually designed to do. And the kind that your brain is literally begging you to do, whether you realize it or not. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, I already know that walking is good for me. My doctor told me to walk. I watch the news. I know walking is healthy. And you're right. But here's where most people miss the real story. They know that walking is good. What they don't know is how walking actually works inside your body after 70, and what happens when you don't do enough of it. There's a huge difference between knowing walking is good and actually understanding why it could save your life. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're 75 years old. You've retired. Life is quieter now. Maybe you're not working anymore. Maybe you're spending more time at home. And without realizing it, your daily steps have dropped. Maybe you used to walk around the office all day, and now you're not. Maybe you used to go out more, and now you don't. And so your steps have gone from maybe 8,000 or 9,000 a day down to 3,000 or 4,000. That sounds like a small difference. But that small difference is actually setting something in motion inside your body that most people don't see coming. Here's what's happening. When you walk less, your muscles start to get smaller. Not overnight, but gradually. Your leg muscles, your core muscles, your balance muscles, they all start to shrink a little bit. Your bones get slightly weaker because they're not being loaded and stressed the way they're supposed to be. Your heart has to work a little bit harder to do normal things because it's getting deconditioned. Your brain isn't getting the blood flow it normally would. Your blood sugar control starts to slip because your muscles aren't there to absorb glucose the way they used to. Your sleep gets a little bit worse because your body isn't being challenged the way it needs to be. And all of these things, the weaker muscles, the weaker bones, the deconditioned heart, the foggy brain, the messy blood sugar, all of these things quietly start to pile up. And then one day, something small happens. Maybe you stand up too fast. Maybe you miss a step. Maybe you reach for something on a high shelf. And suddenly you fall. And that fall, which in a 40-year-old might have just meant a scraped knee, in a 75-year-old can mean a broken hip. And a broken hip isn't just an injury. For many seniors, a broken hip is the beginning of a cascade that can lead to loss of independence, infections, complications, and sometimes much worse outcomes. And here's the heartbreaking part. Most of those falls are preventable. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand the invisible thread connecting a simple decision to walk less with a serious health consequence months or years later. Most people never see that thread. They never connect the dots between their decreasing steps and their increasing risk. They just notice one day that they feel weaker, or they're worried about balance, or they had a fall and they can't figure out why. But the answer was actually written into their daily habits a long time before. What makes this so important after 70 is that something shifts in your body around that age. Your muscles become more sensitive to disuse. If you lose muscle now, it takes you much longer to get it back than it did when you were younger. Your bones become more fragile, especially if you're not moving. Your cardiovascular system gets out of shape faster. And your brain actually changes when you're moving less. Your thinking gets a little bit slower. Your memory doesn't work quite as well. You get more foggy. And all of that is because your brain is very much connected to your body's movement. But here's where the story changes. Here's the part I really want you to hear. Because there's a flip side to all of this. And the flip side is just as powerful. When you walk regularly, and I mean really regularly, not just once in a while, something completely different starts to happen inside your body. your muscles respond. They get stronger, not the way they did when you were 30, but they do respond. Your bones get denser, your balance improves, your cardiovascular system becomes more efficient, your heart doesn't have to work as hard, your blood vessels become more flexible, your blood pressure often comes down, your blood sugar control improves, your joints move better, your inflammation goes down, and your brain actually starts to work better. Memory sharpens, thinking clears up, mental fog lifts, the risk of cognitive decline goes down substantially. And it's not like you have to run a marathon. It's not like you have to do CrossFit or join a gym or do anything extreme. The habit I'm talking about is simply this: consistent daily walking. Walking with a little bit of purpose behind it. Not shuffle walking, but actual walking where your heart rate goes up a little bit, where you're breathing a little heavier, where you're moving with intention for a continuous period of time. Now, let me tell you what research actually shows us, because this is where it gets really interesting. Study after study shows that older adults who walk regularly have significantly better outcomes than those who don't. They have stronger bones, better balance, lower fall risk, better cardiovascular health, lower blood pressure, better blood sugar control, lower inflammation markers, better cognitive function, better memory, lower risk of dementia, lower risk of depression, better sleep, better energy. And here's something that really matters: they have higher quality of life. They stay independent longer. They don't end up in hospitals or nursing homes as often. They live longer and they live better. But here's what's really strange. Even though this information is out there, even though doctors tell people to walk, even though people know it's important, most seniors over 70 aren't doing it. Most older adults are not getting enough consistent daily movement. They're getting maybe 3,000 or 4,000 steps a day when they should be getting 7,000 or 8,000 or more. And some are getting even less than that. And I think I understand why. It's not because they don't care about their health. It's not because they want to decline. It's because nobody's ever really explained to them exactly why this habit matters so much and exactly how to make it stick. They hear walk more, but they don't feel the urgency. They don't understand the science. They don't have a system, so it doesn't happen. And that's what I want to change for you right now. Here's what most people miss about walking after 70. They think of it as exercise. They think of it as something you do to work out. But it's not really that. It's something much more fundamental. It's a habit that touches almost every system in your body. It's something your body was literally designed to do. Your skeletal system was designed for walking. Your cardiovascular system was designed for walking. Your neurological system was designed for walking. Your endocrine system, the system that regulates your hormones and blood sugar, was designed around movement and walking. When you stop walking, you're not just losing fitness. You're literally going against your body's design. And your body responds by breaking down. So here's the truth that I think more seniors need to hear. You don't have to accept decline. You don't have to accept weakness or foggy thinking or bad balance or dependence. Not all of it anyway. Some of it is inevitable with age, but a huge amount of it is preventable. And the tool you have is something you can do today. It's walking. Now, I want to be really practical here because I know that for some of you, walking might feel hard. Maybe you have arthritis, maybe you have knee pain or hip pain, maybe you have heart problems and you're not sure if walking is safe. Maybe you're deconditioned and you're worried about being able to start. And I want to say this clearly. If you have any significant health concerns, you should talk to your doctor before you make any major changes. But here's what I also want to tell you. In most cases, the answer is not to not walk. The answer is to walk carefully, maybe slower, maybe shorter distances at first, and then gradually build up, because the benefits of walking almost always outweigh the risks, especially after 70. Let me tell you about something I see a lot. I see people who have arthritis or joint pain, and they've decided that the solution is to stop moving. They think that by staying still, they're protecting their joints. But actually, the opposite happens. When you don't move, your joints get stiffer, your muscles get weaker, your body has to work harder to move, and so the pain often gets worse. But when you move regularly, gently, consistently, in a way that your body can handle, your joints actually feel better. Your mobility improves, your pain often goes down. This is one of those hidden truths that almost nobody knows until they experience it themselves. The same thing happens with balance and fall risk. I talk to so many older adults who have had a fall or who are worried about falling, and so they've decided to be extra careful. They move slowly, they hold on to things, they avoid going out. And I understand the fear, but ironically, that caution actually makes the problem worse, because the more sedentary you are, the weaker your balance gets, and the higher your fall risk actually becomes. But if you walk regularly, your balance improves, your muscles get stronger, your proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space, gets sharper, and your actual fall risk goes down. So the solution to fall prevention is actually to move more, not less. It's counterintuitive, but it's true. Here's something else that I think matters. When you walk regularly, something happens to your brain that's really quite remarkable. Your brain gets more blood flow, your neural connections get stronger, your memory improves, your thinking becomes clearer, your mood improves, and your risk of cognitive decline and dementia goes down substantially. In fact, walking is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain health. It's better than brain games. It's better than puzzles. It's better than most cognitive activities. Your brain was designed to be in a moving body, and when you're moving, your brain thrives. And then there's the inflammation piece, which I think a lot of older adults don't fully understand. As we age, our bodies tend to develop what's called chronic inflammation. It's low grade, you can't feel it, but it's happening. And chronic inflammation is connected to almost every major disease that seniors worry about. Heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, arthritis. And one of the most powerful ways to reduce chronic inflammation is regular movement. When you walk, your body releases anti-inflammatory substances. Your immune system works better. Your inflammatory markers go down. And so by walking regularly, you're actually reducing your risk of all of these conditions. You're not just staying stronger. You're attacking the root cause of a lot of the diseases that kill and disable older people. Now, let me talk about something practical. If you're going to make this work, you need to understand that this isn't about motivation, it's about habit. Because motivation comes and goes, but a habit, a real habit, sticks around. And a habit becomes automatic. And when it's automatic, you don't have to think about it, you just do it. So the question isn't how to motivate yourself to walk. The question is how to build walking into your daily life so it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. Here's what I recommend. Start with a time. Maybe it's in the morning after breakfast, maybe it's in the afternoon, maybe it's in the evening before dinner. Pick a time that works for your schedule and your body and make it the same time every day. Your body loves routine, your mind loves routine. When you walk at the same time every day, it becomes a habit much faster. It becomes something your body expects and anticipates, and that's powerful. Then start with a distance or a time that feels manageable. Don't start by trying to walk an hour. Start with 10 or 15 minutes, or start with a half mile. Whatever feels doable for you right now. Because the key is consistency, not intensity. A 10-minute walk every single day is infinitely better than a 2-hour walk once a month. Consistency is what changes your body. Consistency is what builds the habit. And then here's the important part. Once you start, pay attention to how you feel. Notice how your legs feel. Notice how your breathing is. Notice how your energy is later that day. Notice how you sleep that night. Notice how your mood is. Because when you start paying attention to how good walking makes you feel, that becomes part of the motivation. It's not abstract anymore. It's real. You feel it. And that makes the habit stronger. Now, I want to talk about something else that I think is really important for seniors to understand. And that's the difference between walking and sitting. Because for a lot of older adults, the majority of their day is spent sitting. They sit at breakfast. They sit and watch TV. They sit and read. They sit and do crosswords. They sit in the car. They sit at lunch. They sit all day. And then maybe they walk a little bit. And then they sit again. And the problem with this is that sitting is actually quite different from not walking. Too much sitting is unhealthy in its own right, separate from not exercising. What happens when you sit for long periods is that your blood pools in your legs, your muscles don't contract, your circulation slows down, your joints stiffen, your digestive system slows down, your blood sugar control gets worse. And if you sit long enough, your risk of blood clots, your risk of cardiovascular disease, your risk of poor outcomes actually goes up. So the solution isn't just to add a walk to your day, it's also to break up your sitting. And you can do this by standing, by doing a little bit of movement, or by taking a short walk every couple of hours throughout the day. In fact, I think one of the most important habits for seniors to adopt is this. Every 2 hours during the day, get up and move for 5 or 10 minutes. Go for a walk, do some light stretching, go up and down stairs a few times, do something. Just break up the sitting, because that interruption of sitting is almost as important as the structured walking that you do. And when you combine both, a structured daily walking habit plus frequent breaks from sitting, that's when you see the biggest changes in health and energy and quality of life. Let me tell you about something that might surprise you. Walking is also incredibly powerful for your sleep. A lot of older adults struggle with sleep. They don't sleep as deeply as they used to. They wake up in the night. They wake up early in the morning and can't fall back asleep. And a lot of them turn to sleep medications. But here's what I see over and over. When older adults start walking regularly, their sleep improves dramatically. They fall asleep faster, they sleep more deeply, they wake up less in the night, they have better sleep quality, and they don't need the sleep medications as much. And when you're sleeping better, everything else gets better too. Your mood improves, your immune system works better, your recovery works better, your cognitive function works better, your pain goes down, everything improves when you sleep better. And walking is one of the most powerful ways to improve sleep naturally. Here's another thing that I think older adults underestimate. Walking is social. When you can walk with a friend, you can walk with a spouse, you can walk with a group. And that social connection is incredibly important for seniors. Loneliness is a huge problem for older adults, and social isolation is connected to all kinds of poor health outcomes. But when you build your walking into a social context, when you walk with people you care about, suddenly it becomes about more than just health. It becomes about connection. It becomes about community. And that changes everything. That makes it stick. That makes it feel good. And that makes it last. Now, I want to address something that I hear a lot from older adults. They say, "But I don't have time." They say they're too busy. And I understand that. Life is busy, even when you're retired. But here's what I want to gently push back on. You don't have to find 30 extra minutes out of your day. What you have to do is reprioritize your day. What you have to do is decide that your health is worth 30 minutes a day. And here's the truth. If you do that, if you walk 30 minutes a day, you will likely have more energy. You will likely be able to do more. You will likely be sick less often. So you might actually gain time in the long run because you're healthier and more capable. Let me talk about the numbers for a second, because I think this is important. Research shows that older adults who walk regularly, and by regularly I mean most days of the week, at least 30 minutes a day, have a significantly longer lifespan than those who don't. We're talking years. We're talking 5, 10, sometimes more years of additional life. But here's what I think matters even more than the years added to your life. It's the life added to your years, because it's not just about living longer. It's about being able to travel and see grandchildren. It's about being able to get up off the floor. It's about being able to garden. It's about being able to think clearly. It's about independence. It's about being the version of yourself that you want to be in your later years. And that's what walking gives you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you about something. I'm going to tell you about what I see happen when older adults don't do this. I see people decline. I see people lose muscle. I see people develop balance problems. I see people fall. I see people lose independence. I see people end up in facilities when they might have been able to stay home. I see people become depressed because they can't do the things they want to do. And here's what always strikes me. In so many of these cases, so much of it was preventable. It was preventable with the simple decision to walk regularly. And I don't want that to be you. I don't want you to look back in 5 or 10 years and realize that the problem started with a simple decision not to move. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about your schedule this week. I want you to think about when you could fit in a 20 or 30-minute walk. Maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's in the afternoon. Pick a time, pick a distance or a duration that feels manageable for where you are right now. And then I want you to commit to it for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. 2 weeks of consistent daily walking. And then notice how you feel. Notice your energy. Notice your sleep. Notice your mood. Notice your strength. Notice how much easier it is to do things. Because I promise you, if you give it 2 weeks, you're going to feel different. And then you're going to want to keep going. There's one more thing I want to say, and it's about the mental piece. Because I know that for some of you, starting to move after a long time of being sedentary can feel a little bit scary. It can feel hard. It can feel like your body doesn't want to do it. And that's okay. That's normal. But here's what I want to tell you. Your body is much more capable than your mind thinks it is. Your body wants to move. Your body was designed to move. And when you start moving regularly, your body remembers. It's like waking up something that had fallen asleep. And you might be surprised at how quickly your body responds and adapts and gets stronger. And on the days when you don't feel like walking, when the motivation isn't there, I want you to remember this conversation. I want you to remember that this isn't about motivation. It's about health. It's about independence. It's about being able to do the things you want to do. It's about reducing your risk of falls and fractures and cognitive decline. It's about living the life that you want to live. And that's worth getting out the door on a day when you don't particularly feel like it. So here's my closing thought for you. After 70, your body is still incredibly capable of adaptation and improvement. It's still capable of getting stronger. It's still capable of healing and thriving. But it requires the right input. And that input is movement. That input is walking. The good news is that this isn't complicated. It's not expensive. It's not dangerous if you do it carefully. It's something you can start today. You can walk out your door this afternoon or tomorrow morning, and you can begin protecting your health and your independence and your quality of life. That's real power. And that power is available to you right now. I'd love to hear from you about this. If you're over 70 and you've started or restarted a walking routine, have you noticed changes in how you feel? Have you noticed changes in your energy, your sleep, your balance, your thinking? Or maybe you're struggling to get started and you're not sure why. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about this, because I think this is one of the most important conversations we can have about aging well. And if this video resonated with you, if you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate if you subscribed and turned on the notifications so you don't miss our future videos on senior health and living well after 70. Because there are so many things you can do right now to protect your health and your independence, and I want to make sure you have access to that information.